Welcome back to Mike's Man Cave and welcome back to another video. Now today's going to be something a little bit different. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion about things that might happen with not so trustworthy motor mechanics. Now before I get into this video, I just want to say that you probably find that 95 or 99% of all motor mechanics or tradies are quite honest people, just like 95 to 99% of the general population are generally honest people. Now in saying that, that still leaves a small percentage of unethical operators. And we all hear about these all the time when we watch TV, current affairs, 60 Minutes, etc, etc. But in this case, this actually happened to me. A few weeks ago, I was driving my EL Falcon down the motorway to go to the shops. I was just sitting on 110 or thereabouts, maybe 100, and I could just feel the car was starting to miss a little bit. It just wasn't running nice. And I thought that's a bit odd because it generally runs really well. So then as I drove a little bit further, it got a little bit worse, but it was still driving fine. A few minutes later, I was going around the roundabout, and as I come out of the roundabout, I was accelerating away, and as I hit third gear, I think it was, the engine just cut out. Like, it just died, and the car coasted to a stop. I ended up towing the car home myself because it's just easier to figure these things out when the car's at home in my shed, and it's just sitting over there right now. And I just checked the usual suspects. I checked the coil, I checked the fuel pump, I checked that it had spark. Now I worked out that it was getting plenty of fuel, everything was going fine, but it had a weak spark. The spark was weak and was inconsistent. Then I started looking at the coil. The coil was good. So then it come back down to either leads or distributor. So I started looking at that, and it turned out that the distributor was somehow playing up. I don't know what was wrong with it, obviously, because it was in the car and it's hidden underneath all the manifold and all that. It's quite hard to get to on those cars. So last night I pulled out the distributor, and to my shock I found out that this is an aftermarket distributor. It's not an original Ford one. It's got no Ford marking. It's got no Bosch. Generally Ford uses Bosch distributors. There's no Bosch, there's no anything. There's no made in Australia, made in Germany, there's no anything. There's not even a made in China on this. It's just a generic, I don't know where it come from, distributor. Now, why is this a concern? Well, this car has been in the family since brand new. It was owned by different family members prior to me. It was bought at Peter Warren Ford at Fairfield, which no longer exists these days. And I do have every single service receipt, there's stacks and stacks of them here, for any work that was ever done on the car. Probably for the first 10 to 12 years of its life, the car actually went back to Ford for servicing. And then after that, it went to an independent mechanic to get its regular services done. Now, when I personally got the car into my possession, it had less than 100,000 Ks on it. So there should not be any need for the original distributor to have been taken out and replaced with something else, especially a piece of junk like that. This thing is probably worth, well, it's worth nothing now, it's junk, it doesn't work anymore. But this thing would have been worth brand new, maybe $70 at the most. It's just an aftermarket piece of junk. Whereas an original distributor is worth about $400 or $500 in new condition. That's what they're going for. If you were going to buy a brand new or rebuild original Bosch, original Ford Falcon distributor, the cheapest I found was actually $475 plus shipping. Whereas I can buy these ones for $70 delivered to my door, but I don't want these. Now what I did, I went through all these receipts And again, there's no need for the original distributor to be taken out of the car. The car to this day only has 150,000 Ks on it, which is nothing for a car that's almost 25 years old. And my son also has an EL Falcon, and his car still has the original Bosch distributor, and it's just about to click over to 300,000 Ks. Now generally a Bosch distributor as original from Ford will easily do anywhere from 250 to 450,000 Ks in your car. Now some people might disagree, and look, if you maybe want it running optimally, rebuild it every 200,000 Ks or whatever. But it will just keep going. There's no need to replace a Bosch distributor in a car that has done less than 100,000 Ks. After checking all the service records and confirming that this is definitely rubbish, the only conclusion that I can come up with is that one of the mechanics that has worked on that car has stolen the original distributor and replaced it with this for whatever reason. Maybe he wanted one for his own car, or someone that he knew needed one for their car and they didn't want to put this garbage in their car. So they swapped it out while the car was in there for service, and this car would have been in there for service. It would have been an extremely low mileage car. It would have been a 15, 16, 17-year-old car with less than 100,000 Ks on the clock. So the distributor would have been like new. So I can pretty much guarantee you that it got stolen by the mechanic that was servicing the car, which is very, very annoying. So what I've done today, I have gone out and I've sourced myself a brand new old stock Bosch distributor. As you can see there, hopefully, it says Bosch, made in Australia. Then when you look at the ignition module, it says Bosch. Then when you look at the cap, it again says Bosch, made in Australia. And this thing has never been fitted to a car. There's no marks where the clamp goes on it that clamps the distributor in place. There's no marks anywhere around the locking mechanism for the plug. So it definitely has not even been plugged into anything, because once you plug it in, it leaves marks. Now, I was very, very lucky. Unfortunately, I had to go on a 3-hour round trip to buy this, but it only cost me $80 off Facebook Marketplace. A brand new Bosch distributor. Now, just the cap here will be at least $25. The rotor button that's inside that creates or distributes the spark will be about $20. The Bosch ignition module here is over $100 on its own. Just the module there, just this little plastic thing there. That's about $105 at Repco. How do I know? Because I just bought one. And the reason I bought this was because I thought this is the part that needed replacing on the old distributor. But then I worked out the whole distributor was just a waste of time. So I'm going to have to take this one back for refund, and that was $105. So this original one here, which I never ended up using, goes back in the box here. And there's the original sales receipt for $109. So I'm actually going to get that money back, because I've got no use for this now, because my new distributor come with a new one. So what I'm saying here is just be very, very careful when you get work done on your car. I mean, if these people are willing to steal the distributor out of the car, a very, very low mileage car, what else are they stealing, or what else aren't they doing when they're servicing your car? And these services are so expensive now, and this is one of the reasons I do 99.9% of my own mechanical work right here in this shed. It's not that I really like doing it, but these people just can't be trusted. Now, if you've had your own experience with a bad mechanic, I don't want you to name the workshop, because that could get people into hot water, And I'm not naming the workshop that I believe has stolen my distributor. There's only 3 workshops that have worked on this car. One of them was a Ford workshop, and 2 of them were independent mechanics, local mechanics. And I've got a fair idea, looking at these receipts, when the ignition leads were changed. And I've got a feeling when the ignition leads were changed is when the distributor was swapped out. Yeah, just a hunch. But I can't be 110% sure, so I can't name anyone. That's just how it goes. But what I want you guys to do is leave a comment down below with an experience or bad experience that you might have had with one of your mechanics while getting work done on the car. Or if you like, let us know of a really, really good experience you've had with a mechanic. Also, any mechanics out there watching this video right here, leave a comment. Have you ever heard of this sort of stuff happening before? I have, but honestly, I never really believed it. If you've got any questions or anything to comment, leave a comment down below. I'll try and respond to all comments. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more videos from Mike's Man Cave. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.